Hi, I'm back to read another fan fiction. I just got home, I was out, and I had a drink already, so I'm a little bit buzzy, but I'm going to keep going and drink some more so I can get in that, sweet fan fiction reading spot. So I have a box rosé here. So it's been a while since I've had wine, but I love it, so I'm looking forward to it. So I'm going to get some here. There we go. So I'll drink this and then I'll be back and we'll start reading. Cheers. Okay, I'm back and wine's all gone. So I will drink more about halfway through, but I might pause it because I really can only drink that while eating some snacks, and I don't want to make anyone watch me eat snacks. So we'll pause it and I'll drink this halfway through. So let's start. Okay. The fic is Celestial Harmonies. The fic is Celestial Harmonies, should come with a warning, by Zebrobber. The rating is general audience. It's 1,326 words, so a nice short one. The tags are: Crowley underestimates angelic singing, fluff and humor, nothing dark in here, folks. I think they have this because I'm reading a different one they did that's a werewolf, I guess. And it's kind of dark, but good, really, really good. So I recommend checking out their other stuff. Zebrobber, I'll put the link in the description. Okay, nothing dark in here, folks. Just a few briefly dead birds. Bentley has a personality. I love it when the Bentley has a personality. Because Crowley expects her to. Wonderful. So the summary is, Crowley wants Aziraphale to sing along to Queen with him. Aziraphale doesn't think it's such a good idea. Short and sweet and hopefully funny. Now I've gone and thrown it all away. Oh, Crowley bellowed, slightly off key but full of gleeful enthusiasm. Okay, so he wants him to sing Queen. So this is from Bohemian Rhapsody, right? How does that line go? And now I've gone and thrown it all away, Crowley bellowed. Hopefully that's pretty much it. It's been a while since I listened to it. Crowley bellowed, slightly off key, but full of gleeful enthusiasm. He drummed his hands on the steering wheel, and the car veered wildly into the center of the road for a heart-stopping moment. Aziraphale closing his eyes and throwing up a silent prayer. Please, Crowley, please put your hands on the wheel. Come on, Angel, sing along. Crowley grinned, still playing the drums on the frankly remarkable tolerant Bentley's wheel. I will not. Spoil sport. What's the matter? You know the words. Everyone knows the words. Angels do not sing bebop. Ah, Crowley! Aziraphale wailed in despair as Crowley threw the car around a corner without even attempting to acknowledge that there was a brake pedal. Crowley laughed in thrilled and wild-eyed delight. Whooping. Actually whooping. Aziraphale thought in despair. Queen is not bebop, Crowley groaned in good-natured amusement, steering, though steering was perhaps a very loose way of putting what Crowley was doing to the poor car, through a red light. Crowley, the light was on red. Was it? He said carelessly, craning his neck to look behind him and narrowly missing a lorry. Lord, forgive me for the murder I am about to commit, Aziraphale muttered, raising his eyes to the roof of the car. Say something, Angel? Crowley asked, whipping his head back around and not even noticing that the lorry was still blasting its horn viciously at them. Aziraphale waved apologetically at it as they passed and made sure the driver was given 3 weeks unexpected paid holiday. No, he sighed. Then sing. I really shouldn't. Why, you scared heaven's going to punish you for singing a little Freddie Mercury? Hardly the worst thing you've done today. Never mind ever. That's not it. Crowley, please look where you're going. Crowley looked up from rummaging in the glove compartment and swore cheerfully as he swerved to avoid an old lady crossing the road. Aziraphale miracled her to the other side of the street, where she paused, confused and swinging her umbrella around viciously in case she was somehow being mugged. Let's see. Okay. Oh, no, we got a lot of kind of stuff. Please, Crowley said suddenly, switching tactic. For me, Angel. He looked at Aziraphale with wide and beseeching yellow eyes peering over the top of his sunglasses. The effect was disconcerting, and worse, he was not looking at the road. Again! All right, Aziraphale said, panicking slightly as Crowley began to drift the poor Bentley into the oncoming lane. I'll sing, just please. You know I'd never let you get hurt, Crowley grinned, swinging back onto the right side of the road. You did that deliberately. You fiend. Yeah. Demon, remember? Now sing, you promised. All right, but you might not like this. Aziraphale sighed, clearing his throat. He tilted his head while he tried to pick up the thread of the lyrics. Crowley rolled his eyes, smiling to himself. I'm going to have to remember more of the song. Unfortunately, Crowley had forgotten one rather important detail about angelic singing. It was angelic. Okay, how did this line go? I can't remember how this line goes. Okay, so it's so you think you can love me and leave me to die. So, how does that line go? Oh, I can't remember what part of the song we're in. Okay, I don't remember what part of the song we're in, so I'm just going to say it. And it's all in bold and all caps, so it must be that real upbeat part of the song. So you think you can love me and leave me to die was all Aziraphale managed to get out before Crowley was, in fact, forcibly reminded. His voice was truly magnificent. It rolled from him like clear and perfect thunder, full of the terrifying power, authority, and splendor of heaven itself, and accompanied with a fierce and blinding glow of pure holy white light that filled the car and made Crowley swear violently in shock and sudden pain. And then several things happened at once. The Bentley shook with the celestial force of it, and then rattled alarmingly, and then gave up altogether in irritated and somewhat deliberate stubbornness, spluttering to a stop in the middle of the road and listing to one side with the kind of self-aware display of personality that Crowley expected of her. Queen trailed off into a despairing wail and then died. Her hubcaps fell off with a ping one at a time, rolling in dejected circles loudly in the sudden silence. All of the nearby street lamps popped at once and fizzled out, followed by the electricity in general for a radius of 10 miles or more. Hundreds of car alarms blared in discordant harmony, mostly drowning out the angry swearing of all local residents as their internet connections died. Birds left their roosts in the surrounding trees with raucous complaints at being disturbed at such an unreasonable hour. Those of them with the most delicate disposition simply fell from the branches stone dead, only to be miraculously revived a moment later. Whoa, that was briefly dead. Just a few briefly dead birds. They were very briefly dead, all within one sentence. Okay, we have a little over a page and a half left, so I'm going to pause it and drink this, and then we'll finish it. And again, I apologize that I don't remember how that line of the song goes. Ugh. What kind of Good Omens fan am I, honestly? So I'll be back. Okay, the wine's gone, and it wasn't great. What's that you say? A boxed rosé wasn't great? Shocking, I know. But I did drink it. I'm nicely buzzy for the second half of this story. So, the Bentley is falling apart, and some angels died and then were right away brought back to life. So we didn't have to live with the knowledge of dead birds for too long. Thank you, author. Okay. In the car, Aziraphale sat with his hands folded neatly in his lap, staring straight ahead into a downpour of rain, which his singing had apparently dislodged from the local cloud population. Crowley had his shaking hands clamped onto the steering wheel like a drowning man to a raft, knuckles white, mouth open unfortunately wide, and his hair smoldering gently at the tips. A halo of smoke and ash drifted lazily around his head like a miniature storm cloud. The lenses of his sunglasses were shattered with spiderweb cracks, and yet somehow still loyally remained in the frames. With infinite delicacy, and without actually moving his head, Aziraphale reached over and extinguished the last lonely flame still alight in Crowley's hair before returning his hands to his lap. Ah, Crowley said finally after a silence. Relatively, of course, with the alarms still howling all around them. That lasted far too long to ever be described as comfortable. Yes, Aziraphale confirmed, having the good grace to look a little abashed. I did warn you. Does this happen every time? I shouldn't think so, Aziraphale frowned. I think I gave it a little more enthusiasm than angelically recommended. Bebop somewhat encourages it. Crowley nodded once, and the glass fell out of his sunglasses. Without saying a word, he threw them out the window, reached into the glove compartment, and replaced them with a new pair. The old pair hit a bird that had only just revived, knocking it blessedly unconscious until the commotion had finished some hours later. The poor birds! I am sorry about the car, Aziraphale tried. I didn't mean to. She's had worse, Crowley said, pride in his voice. Besides, she's mostly putting it on, aren't you, old girl? He snapped his fingers, and the Bentley reluctantly, and, as far as Aziraphale was concerned, rather over-dramatically, roared back to life, her hubcaps pinging back into place. Oh, I am glad. Crowley looked into the rearview mirror with a despairing sigh. My hair is on fire. Actually, it's only smoldering now, Aziraphale corrected, shutting his mouth swiftly when Crowley eyed him balefully. Well, it is. I put out the fire. I suppose you want me to thank you for putting out the fire. No, wait, I got that backwards. Well, it is. I put out the fire. I suppose you want me to thank you for putting out that fire that you started. Crowley was starting to sound a little hysterical. Well, it would be polite, Aziraphale said with a hint of its usual stubbornness. Regardless, he miracled Crowley's hair back into its usually artfully disheveled state, minus the smoke, and followed it up with a gentle and apologetic kiss to the demon's cheek. Crowley, as predicted, went silent again and his face burned red. Now then, my dear, shall we be off? Aziraphale said after a moment. Perhaps we could fix the electricity. Let the humans deal with it, Crowley mumbled, still recovering from the kiss. I'll report it as my demonic activity for the month. Splendid. Oh, wait, dinner. Aziraphale's face crumbled as he thought of the delicious food that would remain uncooked for him and uneaten by him. I do believe the Ritz still miraculously has power due to a rather large, brand new generator. You are so good to me, Crowley, Aziraphale said, brightening immediately and wriggling his shoulders at the prospect of a good meal after all. Yeah, don't shout about it, Crowley groaned as he urged the Bentley forward again. Don't worry, darling. Not even heaven will hear you over those car alarms. That was great. That was very funny. Yeah, I like that one a lot. So thank you for writing that story, and everyone else, go check out Zebrobber's other stuff and check this one out. Read it at your own, enjoyment, and hopefully you know the lyrics appropriately for Bohemian Rhapsody and are a much better fan than I am. So go and videotape yourself reading that line in Aziraphale's voice and send it to me and put it on YouTube, and I'll watch it and I'll love it. So thank you, and I hope this was fun. Bye.